Good morning, Internet. And what in the fuck of anyone's goddamn right mind makes them think they can do this kind of shit? And this is something I'm kind of really sick and tired of seeing online, seeing with everything, is that too many people are recording legitimate animal abuse for fucking attention. I saw a post recently on Facebook. I saw this Facebook post probably within the last day of this woman abandoning her dogs in the middle of a freaking field.
They don't know how to fend for themselves. Really?
Can I just And where this other woman's freaking trying to be like, oh, do not do that. We have the means to be able to give these dogs a second chance at a home instead of just being goddamn fucking strays on the street.
Drop them off as strays at ACS, Animal Care Services, and it's free. That's at 151. Take right here. Take.
Because we don't need more stray dogs. We don't need more stray animals because, they're considered an invasive species. They're considered all this other stuff that can damage the environment and whatnot. If you are not responsible enough for a goddamn pet,
do not have one.
They need to be fed, they need to be watered, they need to be taken care of, they need to be loved, they need to be given attention. They need all these things in order to maintain a good life. Having a pet is a big responsibility, much less having 4 of them and just throwing them to the curb.
Because I'm tired of people dropping off abandoned dogs. I foster for Animal Care Services, and I'm the one that has to take time away from my children to help people who don't want to be responsible for their pets.
Literally throwing your animals away is not a way. If you are not responsible enough or do not have the dedication it takes to take care of an animal, do not have pets. No matter how big, how small, how easy, or how difficult. Don't even get a fucking fish if you cannot take care of any animal whatsoever. Because this is one thing that pisses me off. Is people who think they can treat animals like shit. People who have no respect for any of this. And to kind of make more valid points to this, it doesn't matter if it's a dog, a cat, a snake, a turtle, a bird, whatever. Whatever pet you decide to have, if you cannot take care of it in a proper fashion, don't have it. Like, there are definitely people who are ignorant to being able to take care of a pet, and it's a way to learn. It's a way that parents can teach their kids about life, death, responsibility, which is something that needs to happen. I agree, people should have pets, but if you are not responsible enough, or you decide later that you're just going to toss them aside or hurt them or do whatever, do not have pets. And then there's also the freaking psychopaths that go out of their way to hurt the wildlife. And I'm not talking about hunting. I'm not talking about protecting your property and whatnot. I'm talking about the people who will freaking light a goddamn tortoise on fire and then smash it with their freaking feet.
It was done in broad daylight. An endangered, helpless gopher tortoise confronted by 2 teenage girls.
Is it still on fire?
Their first attempt to set the tortoise on fire failed, so they poured more of a combustible liquid on his shell and then used a cigarette lighter to set him on fire again.
Because they're like, oh yeah, this is funny, this will get attention, but fuck the animals. No, you deserve the full extent of the law in animal abuse charges with this kind of stuff. Because even in the goddamn fucking video, they said, why won't it die already?
He's not dead yet? Ugh.
That just grinds my gears so much. I'm the type of person where I won't even kill a bug unless, like, it's a mosquito on my arm or something or whatever. I was that little kid that, yeah, thinking back on it, a little hypocritical that would take off the legs of a daddy long legs because, you know, you're a 6-year-old kid. You're going to do some stupid shit. But through doing stuff, I learned the value of life, no matter how little, how small, and I stopped doing that kind of bullshit. Like when you're a little kid, you don't understand this, but when you are a grown adult or even a teenager or someone above the level of understanding that these living beings feel pain, they feel other stuff, it's crazy that people will go out of their way to torture these animals. And I'm talking about in like the day-to-day stuff, or like leaving your dog or leaving your pet in a hot car for an extended period of time.
¿Y qué posición está, eh? No, no le llega a la boca.
An example, like if you're on a road trip and you have to go into a store really quick to get something, say, supplies. If it's a quick 5-10 minute in and out of the store, keep the windows down, have water for your animal. They should be okay. And if it's a hot day, do not take them in, do not leave them in the car. It's like, it's the same reasoning behind don't leave your baby in the car. Because your freaking car is like a goddamn microwave. It retains the heat from the sun. It retains all that. That glass does not let heat escape very well.
It's a freaking greenhouse in there.
But this kind of stuff needs to stop. This is the kind of stuff that organizations like the ASPCA and PETA should go after, like they're going after animal abuse with, like, obvious animal abuse. But at the same time, they shouldn't exploit those who are taking genuinely good care of their animals. Like rodeo animals are not abused and whatnot. And go after the goddamn people that are doing this kind of stupid shit. Go after these freaking people that are batshit crazy in the fucking head, throwing a cat across the goddamn street.
The disturbing video shows a teenager grabbing a cat and throwing it more than 15 yards onto the paved road.
Luckily, only got a fractured leg. That cat is lucky to be alive. Thank God cats have 9 lives. But it's just fucking mind-blowing that these people have little respect for other life. That they will go so much to set a turtle on fucking fire.
Their first attempt to set the tortoise on fire failed.
That they will, like I said, throw a cat across the street.
The disturbing video shows a teenager grabbing a cat and throwing it more than 15 yards onto the paved road.
Some of it, like leaving a dog in a car, could be straight out of ignorance and neglect. And then there's the people, like I said, who can't take care of an animal and they just freaking throw them away, literally throw them away. And I've seen so many things. Like, I grew up with I had a fish tank.
I didn't realize they were that small.
Yeah.
It must be a baby, huh?
Yep.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I wasn't always on top of cleaning it. I wasn't always on top of everything. But I would make sure the fish were alive. I'd make sure the fish were filled. And I'd clean it as often as I could and whatnot. And I got better. As I had the fish tank longer, I got better. I had that fish tank for close to 7, 8, 9 years. Out of all the fish, only one of them survived the entire lifespan of the tank when I moved away for college. That thing had for an aquarium fish, had a really long lifespan. I purposely did not throw the fish away or get rid of the tank until the fish finally died. I didn't get any more fish. I didn't do anything. I kept taking care of it and whatnot, but I let the fish have its natural life cycle into death. I didn't force it to die. I didn't do whatnot because I knew I wouldn't be able to take the fish tank with me to college, and I knew my parents weren't going to want the fish tank at their house to take care of. Even my grandparents in their 80s can take care of their dog better than people can. And he's spoiled. He may be overfed to where he's a little chunky, But he is spoiled. He's well taken care of. He's looked after.
Oh, I think yeah, he's. Oh, there we go. There we go. Good job. Good boy. Good boy, Willie.
I don't get how people can have such little respect for other life other than their own, that they will treat animals like absolute garbage. Now, even extending past animals to other people. How do you live with yourself after committing such a freaking act? It's just freaking mind blowing. Like, looking back on it, like I said, when I was a kid, I'd take the legs off of Daddy Longlegs and whatnot. And shoot, looking back on it, that was a dumb thing to do even as a kid. But what kid didn't mess with insects and end up killing them through just playing with them? Like, still a shitty thing to do. And I'm gonna make sure that when I have my own kids, they will respect life, no matter how big or small, and when not. But it's just ridiculous, because there are people that will go out of their way to commit these acts, whether purposefully or out of negligence. It's fucking nuts. I don't understand people. I really don't. What the fuck is people's problems? If you know you cannot take care of an animal, do not get a pet. If you think about getting rid of an animal, look for people who will gladly take them into their home, give them a new home, give them more life. Don't just toss them out don't toss them out like you would trash.
They don't know what to do. They just get rid of their dogs.
Don't leave them on the side of the road. Don't flush them down the toilet if they're not dead. Don't do these stupid things. That is just ridiculous and horrible. Because people can be better than this. But there's just so many goddamn problems that, as overextending as PETA and the ASPCA can be, their heart's in the right place, to where they are trying to advocate for animal rights and whatnot, because they're living beings too, and because of our history and not always giving respect to other life, we are the reason there's so many endangered species. But we are now looking back on that and trying to correct our mistakes, however late it might be. We are advocating, like people like Steve Irwin or Brave Wilderness and other people like that are actively going out there to show, like, yes, these animals may be dangerous, but it's part of nature. It's part of the life cycle of Earth. They are here for a reason, whatever reason that may be. And without certain animals, the ecosystem would completely fall apart, from the biggest to the smallest. We are all here for one purpose or another. Whether you're an atheist or you're religious, we have some purpose to life, and that is not disrespecting the life of another animal. But the simple act of torturing an animal just because you can doesn't mean you should. And this goes in lines of what I've talked about here. If you cannot take care of an animal, do not have an animal. I don't understand how people can treat animals the way they do and be okay with themselves, and their friends antagonizing them or encouraging this kind of behavior, or people sharing it around laughing at it or whatever. It's just disturbing to me that people can get this in their head that this is okay. This is something that's acceptable. It's not. And I think there's a lot of things out there. We need to stop sharing these animal abuse posts, because it only gives more attention to the abusers. It gives more people an incentive to make these videos, because they'll know they'll get attention. We need to stop sharing them on Facebook. No matter, even if it's just like, I'm guilty of this too. Even if it's just saying fuck these people for how they treat these animals. Even if it's saying this is wrong, don't do this. We need to stop sharing it. Instead, make a text post, make a video talking about it, but don't share the video itself. I'm not going to link the actual videos of the people. I'll share like the news articles or the news stories in the description, but I will not link these abusers. We need to stop giving them attention. We need to stop giving them credibility by sharing their stuff around. Even if it's not the original poster, stop sharing this shit. Because it only encourages more. Just like the whole theory of commenting on an active shooter or commenting or sharing a horror story of a serial killer or a terrorist or whatever gives them more validity to their cause, to where it can spark more people to do stupid, crazy shit. Because someone might not think that this is something they can do, and then they see someone else do it, and they may already have that predisposed mindset, that predisposed psychopathy, that they will do it because it's geared in their mind that in some way or another. People that treat animals like shit are just horrible people. And it's... I don't understand it. Why? Why do you have this reasoning to frickin' do this shit? Answer me that. Answer me why you would set a tortoise on fire. Answer me why you would throw a cat across the street. Answer me why you would beat your dogs. Answer me why you would put them into fighting rings, whether it's cockfights, whether it's dog fights, whether it's whatever other animals fight each other. Why? Why do you do this? Why? Like I said, it's fucking ridiculous that people will do this kind of thing. And also, always try and adopt from a shelter than from a puppy mill or even a pet store. Because yes, there's still living beings in the pet store, but if you adopt from a shelter or a rescue center and whatnot, those animals are more likely to have been abused and need a loving home. They are rescues that might not have life elsewhere, because there's a lot of places that will put down rescued dogs because nobody wants them. Like, try and go for no-kill shelters. Try and go for these things that support animals in a way that they respect them as living beings. They don't just treat them as an object of ownership. Because if you own a pet, they are part of your family. If you have animals, they are part of your family. Even if you just have a squirrel or a raccoon or whatever that comes by your house frequent enough, or a stray cat or stray dog that you feed, that you take care of, that you make sure they're okay, they are still part of your family to some extent because you care about them. And then you see shit like this online and you're just like, what the actual fuck is wrong with people? It's just mind-blowing. And I've repeated myself, so I'm probably going to end the video here soon, but answer me why people have this predisposed idea that they can abuse an animal just because they can. Answer me why people have the mindset that they don't respect another living creature in a way that they feel it's okay to torture them. Answer me that. Because it's so fucked up that it should not be a thing, and I think we need to be more aggressive towards animal abusers, because there's several studies that are done on like serial killers and other mass murders and other kind of things, that they would torture animals in their childhood and then they would go off to do shit to people and cause absolute harm. It's an early warning sign that they could do something a hell of a lot worse than what they're already doing. So I think we need to focus in on that, but we also don't need to overextend on it, because there's some things that are not animal abuse that some people classify as animal abuse, and some things that are people who don't classify as animal abuse that are animal abuse. It can be a very thin gray line that this is a thing. But we need to try and change how we perceive other living creatures to where we can actually respect them, to where we understand they have their life as much as we have our life, and they are as much involved in the entire ecosystem as we are, and whatnot. We need to have a higher respect for other living creatures. That's my final point, and I'm tired of seeing this kind of stuff. I will do my best to stop sharing it. I will do my best to not credit those people, because this is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous.